Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Okay, today's date is the 8th. Today's date is November the 8th, 2024, and the time is 6:20 p.m. Chicago's time. Okay, this video is going to be another part of my astrotheology series. And today, I'm not only gonna talk to you about it. I'm not only gonna talk to you about certain things that it involves, but I'm gonna try to show you what I'm talking about in this video. So, to get started, I want to say the difference between astronomy and astrology. Astronomy is a science. Both are sciences, except astronomy is accepted as a science, but astrology isn't. But you can't have one without the other. They feed off of each other. Astronomy is a science concerned with observing, recording, accounting for, and predicting the motions of the celestial bodies and determining their physical elements. It is the basics of astrology. So without astronomy, there would be no astrology. Okay, astrology, although the definition of astronomy goes a lot more deeper, but which I gave you is the basics. Okay, the basis of astrology is astrology is a Greek term, and it means the science of the stars. And it says the art and science of studying the celestial bodies, stars, planets, etc. You would mean what I mean by etc. There's other things like asteroids, meteors, and nebulas and stuff like that. Galaxies, galaxy systems, and all of that would be pertaining to the celestial bodies. Astrology and astronomy is called the celestial sciences. And if most of you guys out there, you probably read the Bible growing up, and there's stories about Abraham, and it talks about Abraham lived in Chaldea. Chaldeans are people, basically, they studied the stars. They were astronomers. They weren't the first astronomers, but they were astronomers that took astrology to a different level. Most of the things the Chaldeans learned, they gave that information to the Egyptians. The Egyptians, for which they were called Comitians back then, because Egypt was named Egypt after it was conquered by the Greeks. But before then, the name of Egypt was Kemet, and before the name Africa, the name was Akibalon. That was the name of the African continent, Akibalon. Where in the Bible, those people back then called what we call now Africa, they were calling it Ethiopia. Ethiopia was the name by which Africa was called back then. Africa or Akibalon. Okay. It says astrology, the science of the stars, the art and science of studying the celestial bodies, stars, planets, etc., and their cyclical motion, and determining their influence on human character, behavior, experience, and events. So basically, astronomy deals more with the planets itself, the planets, where they are, the mass, the size, the material that they made from. That's basically astronomy. Astrology deals with the relationship between the living, the relationship between the planets, stars, and the creatures. It affects. So you can't have one without you can't really have one without the other. Whereas astrology wouldn't exist if it didn't know those planets exist. So you can have astronomy without astrology, but you can't have astrology without astronomy. But the two click, they connect together. And another thing, before I go into the other part of what I'm trying to present here, this series is called Astrotheology for a reason, and the reason is that the Bible is connected to the celestial sciences. When you read stories like when you read stories in the Bible and it talks about, well, you had the Israelites were God had them wandering in the forest or whatever for 40 years or whatever. In reality, to me, far as I don't accept those stories as truth, I accept them as allegoricals. Now, there's alignments with the planets that take those a certain amount of years. You will have some planets taking 30, 40, 50, 100 years just for their movement around the sun. And during those planets' movement around the sun, you get certain things, energies are created, and energy brings on action, and action turned into events. That's what they was trying to tell us when they have these stories. Whenever it's mentioned numbers is important to pick up on when you read in the Bible, because those numbers that they're talking about has something to do with the movement of planets and how it's going to affect those people. Now, this book right here is called The Astrologer's Astronomical Handbook. This is an important read if you have some involvement, or if you want to learn astronomy and astrology. This is a good book to start off with, because I'm gonna give you an example of what I just said. Hold on one second. We're gonna talk about these planets and how many years it takes for these planets to go around the sun. That's the main focal point in our solar system. Our sun is the most powerful force in our universe. It is why we exist here today. Without that sun, we wouldn't exist. So the Bible is an allegorical sense of the solar system. Jesus Christ represents the sun. The sun is the ruler of Leo, the zodiacal sign of Leo, which is in the Bible, Judah is from Leo the lion. So what they did is they took the constellation, the stars and everything, and in the Bible they turned them into characters. They turned them into characters, regular people. That's all they did. Now, on page 57 of this book, it tells you it gives you information about the planets and how long it takes for it to roll, for it to go around the sun. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm gonna start with the closest planet that they know is near the sun in our solar system. That would be Mercury. Now it says the distance of Mercury from the sun is 36 million miles. And it takes between 87 to 97 years to go around the sun. Okay, then you got Venus. It's 67.2 million miles from the sun, and it takes 224.7 for it to go around the sun. And Earth is 92.9 million miles from the sun, and it takes 365.26 days to go around the sun. And we know 365 days is 1 year. Now 1 year the earth goes around the sun in that 1 year period. Now there's other planets that takes a longer time going around the sun, like Mars. Mars is 141.5 million miles from the sun, but it takes 687 days for it to go around the sun. So, hold on, I'm gonna do one more. I'm gonna give you one more. Jupiter is 483 million miles from the sun. It takes 11.86. Hold on 1 second. It takes almost 12 years. It takes 11.86 years for it to go around the sun. But yeah, in our solar system, everything revolves around the sun. That means everything goes around the sun. Now, back in the day, in the ancient times, they didn't know that. They thought the sun moved around the earth. But in today's modern time, we know that the sun goes around not the sun, but the planets go around the sun. And there's a reason for that. Okay, we have 4 planets that's made of rock. We have also 4 planets that are made of gases. They're called the gas giants, and they're called the modern planet. We have 2 modern planets, really 3 modern planets if you still want to call Pluto a planet. We have 3 modern planets. You have, the modern planets are Uranus, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Now, out of those 3 I just mentioned, Uranus and Neptune are gas giants. Saturn and Jupiter are gas giants. That means that they don't have a surface. It's all gas. If they have a surface, it's at the core. It's not like the surface that we live on. We live on rocks, on a rocky planet. This is why I believe that back in ancient times, Jupiter was considered a sun. It probably burned like the sun since it's made of gases. What's the name? Saturn. There's belief that Saturn was our sun before our sun took its course. Saturn was a sun, they say. And those rings that go around Saturn, they used to tell us it's ice, but now they realize that it's something else, because Saturn has waves that connects with our moon. It's a satellite. It's a satellite that appears to be communicating with the moon. I guess there's like solar rays or whatever going back and forth, but that's what those rings are, they say. But yeah, so let me give you an example from the Bible. Now, it talks about in Deuteronomy. I'm going to try to find the chapter. What? Hold on one second. Okay, it says that it's found in Genesis chapter 15 verse 13. Genesis. Hold 1 second. Okay, he's speaking to Abraham, and he says, then he said to Abraham, know certainly that your descendants will be strangers in a land that is not theirs, and will serve them, and they will afflict them 400 years. And also the nation whom they serve I will judge. Afterwards they shall come out with great possessions. Now it says 400 years. Now, if you're silly to believe what these pastors want to tell you, hold on 1 second. This damn thing is... Okay, if you want to believe what they telling you, that it's slavery for these people, it's going to be 400 years or whatever, I don't believe none of that or whatever. I believe that you make your own choices. That means that you bring your own gifts and curses upon yourselves. But if your mind is not right, you're going to believe whatever somebody else tells you. But now this, the reason why whatever these people are going to suffer, it's going to be 400 years, is because the cycle of the energy that is created by different planets is going to create an energy that whatever man is created, that time period can last 400 years, according to whatever it is that's being generated at that time. These planets take a certain amount of years to go around the sun, and during that time it's going around the sun, it's going through it's making connections to other planets, and planets making connections to each other. If they're in a positive connection, you get positive things out of it. But if it's a negative connection, you would get negative energy from it. That's all it is. And this is what this Bible was about. It's about trying to put in a story what was happening in the physical aspects. Because you gotta think, we're on this planet. Everything we see evolves around the physicality. But the mind, the way we think, the way we understand, our intellect, that is spiritual. That our minds give us the ability to think and see things in the way that we want to see them, and also we can sense these things outside of the physical. When you're sleeping and you're dreaming in a spiritual sense, because what you're dreaming is not in the physical world, it's in the spiritual world. Now, I'm not claiming to have the answers on everything. These are my opinions and my philosophies about life. I'm not an astrologer. I'm not a astronomer or a astrologer by education wise, as far as degrees or whatever. I don't have this. This is something that's part of my passion. I grew up on learning about the stars and loving the stars and watching them and looking up to them. I have a telescope. You know, I usually take it out in the summer months, and where I can see the stars and everything, because I can't really see the stars from where I live, because I'm in the city and there's lots of lights everywhere. That is always best to get somewhere where there's not a lot of street lights or anything. That way you can see more. But yes, that's all that Bible is. All it is a constructed story of basically what's happening in the stars and what the effect is on us here down on Earth. But that's all I'm gonna cover now in this video. Oh, one other thing. Age. I want to get into age. A quick thing about age. When you hear about the age of Pisces, age of Aquarius, or whatever, the definition of age is astrological. It says a time span of approximately, hold on, when you hear somebody say a great month is a time span of approximately 2,150 years, during which the vernal equinox passes through all 30 degrees of the signs of the zodiac. The phenomenon known as precession of the equinoxes. That's when the equinoxes cross. I'm going to show you in the next video what I'm talking about. But yeah, a great month they say is approximately 2,150 years. But as I was saying in that other video, it could be up to or over 200. It could be over 2,100 years. It could go as far as 2,500 years, depending on that constellation, because all constellations, like I was saying before, they're not all the same size, and I'm going to get into that in my next video. But yeah, that's all I have for now. I'm gonna see you on the next video. Please, if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.